Most people no longer get their news from mainstream media. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, Trudeau actually paid social media influencers to covertly propagandize you. Before we get into this, I want to congratulate everybody. It looks like we've got the signatures up, probably, I'm guessing more than any other petition in Canadian history. This is the petition in Parliament to have a vote of no confidence in our government. And we'll see where it goes from there. Don't stop voting, though. Don't stop spreading the word on this. The link will be at the top of the description in this video, so share this around. It's already at 322,000 signatures, and let's keep that growing. And don't forget to tune in tonight for tonight's live stream. I'm going to have special guest news updates for real. I'm going to have John on the show tonight. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So come join us at 9:30 Eastern time. That's 6:30 Pacific. And we're going to have a lot of fun in the live stream. So come join us. Anyway, getting into this. Justin Trudeau, his government paid Twitter influencers to promote COVID vaccines. That's right. They spent $682,000 on this initiative, and they actually asked them to keep this secret. Don't let people know that you're getting money from the government, because that might be embarrassing. Yeah, well, it's come out and it's embarrassing. The Trudeau government has paid out $682,000 to influencers on Twitter, now known as X, since 2021 to try to convince Canadians to take their COVID-19 vaccine and embrace liberal policies. According to Blacklock's report, which is a fantastic organization, by the way, they keep coming out with this real news. Health Canada has been a major contributor to this stealth paid advertising campaign. Well, I mean, you call that propaganda, absolutely. The campaign description states that it is an influencer campaign to help people in Canada make informed decisions about COVID-19 vaccines. Well, we're going to get into this later in the video about how informed they were on their policies going into this. Expenditures relate to work by the agency, including planning, material development, influencer outreach, and liaison updates, content monitoring, evaluation as a management of payments to influencers. Now, this isn't the first time that they've done stuff like this. Vesper here, I'll leave a link in the description to this 6-minute video. It's over on X. Please go watch it. It'll be in the description. But what he gets into is how this guy, Timothy Coffield, is paid almost $400,000. He didn't tell everybody that he was part of the Trudeau Foundation. This is something that Vesper dug up. But what he did was he took statistics that were already readily available and he skewed them. He basically took statistics about misinformation, people's self-reporting of how much misinformation they saw. A questionnaire where it would say anything from "I never see it" to "sometimes I see it, I've seen it once or twice" to "I see it all the time." And he lumped all of the positive confirmation into this big number of 90 some odd % of people see misinformation online. Of course, skewing the data and getting propaganda out there. So as they're talking about misinformation, they're actively paying for people to go out on social media and provide this disinformation, actually, or no, it's not malinformation. Anyway, Blacklock's reporter documents from Government Health Canada quietly paid $682,000 to Twitter influencers, not required to reveal they are government paid, because that would be embarrassing. Now, for example, on websites like YouTube here, if there's an advertiser in the video, you have to disclose this to YouTube. They actually have that in their terms of service, and you're breaking the terms of service if you don't reveal to YouTube that you're doing this, because they want transparency. So you wouldn't be able to get away with that on YouTube, but apparently on Twitter at the time you were okay to get away with that. I think on Instagram as well, you have to announce that there's a paid advertisement in any post because they want transparency like that. Blacklock's reporter also adding to this $680,000 healthcare dollars These are healthcare dollars. These are dollars that were allocated to the health services during a pandemic when they said we didn't have enough hospital beds or resources. They were putting money into this for Twitter influencers to talk about how Government Canada's health is amazing. And guess what? Here's a list of a bunch of them. So I'll leave this as a link in the description down below. You can look through all this and see if any of these people were ever in your timeline moving in 2021. Franco Terzano of the Taxpayers Federation. Thank goodness they're around. This is bad. The feds took Canadians' money to pay influencers to tell Canadians how good of a job the government's doing. You can't make this up. And those influencers weren't required to disclose they were being paid by the government to spread its propaganda. This is just egregious. It's unbelievable. Rupa Subramanya on Twitter saying, while the premise of the government paying influencers to promote COVID-19 vaccines is ipso facto problematic, the fact that they did it through non-influential handles is just plain dumb. I was expected to recognize these Twitter influencers, but they are complete nobodies with a few hundred followers, and some accounts have since been deactivated. Having said that, this is a sideshow, and you're being distracted once again because Trudeau's real allies are pushing his COVID-19 agenda, where establishment figures in public health, in medicine, in media, and are amplified by the government's messaging almost verbatim. That's the real scandal. We're going to get into that. Shocker, says Sean Ricard. Liberals busted again, this time for corrupt covert propaganda assaults on Canadians. Shame on these influencers, too, for selling their souls to the devil. Let's hope that a detailed list of these scumbags is released to the public. Well, I've got that list. I don't know how detailed it is, but those are some of the names of the people. Calling all whistleblowers. Yeah, come forward if you've been offered this kind of thing. Tom Quiggin saying the government of Canada paid big money to influencers to advance the government's narrative. When Justin Trudeau talks about disinformation, he's correct, but he is the problem. He's the one doing this. By the way, this is just one department. No idea how widespread this practice is in other departments. Great point. We know how much money they love to blow on things like this. Laura Love adding to this whole thing. For those just joining us here at the link, this is where I mentioned I will look into and find the vendor for Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Sorry, there goes my alarm on both my devices. Sorry about that. Mr. and Mrs. Jones on what Blacklock's dug up the influencer situation. The quoted tweet below is what I found when I found them. Sorry, threads get screwy sometimes. But here is the, I'll leave a link to this so you guys can check this out in its entirety. But it exists. There's a contract between the government and Mr. and Mrs. Jones Incorporated. This gets messy. It's gross. But here you go. Vesper D pointing this out again, or sorry, Vesper Skills pointing this out again. Here's a 30,000 foot rough estimate of what the Liberal Party did from 2021 to 2023 in spending our money like it was no one's business. Do the math yourself and tell me what it looks like to you. All data from government portals. This isn't even current. There's more. And yeah, here's a big list of how they spent your money. Oh goodness, wow, $24 to $30 per dose. This is where they were throwing their money. Now, Eva Chipiuk pointing out this CBC News article, Auditor General flags lack of evidence-based records to back COVID-19 decisions. This is the Department of Health unable to provide documents for 33 recommendations by Office of Chief Medical Officer. It gives me no pleasure to confirm the public bodies charged with acting in the public interest are not acting in the interest of the public. The Department of Health was unable to provide evidence-based documentation to substantiate 33 public health decisions made by the COVID-19 pandemic. Auditor General Paul Martin says in an audit release on Thursday. The audit, the audit covered key operational areas where they were meant to reduce the spread of COVID-19, including testing, contact tracing, contact management, and infection prevention and controlled guidance. This is ridiculous that we're looking into this, and this is how crazy it gets. The liberals right now, they're putting out ad campaigns on Twitter saying that together we've delivered real results since 2015 to strengthen the middle class, deliver clean air and jobs, and grow the economy that works for all Canadians. Please stop. Please stop. Stop. You're doing such a bang up job if your goal is to destroy the middle class, because that's what they've been doing. There's still more to do, and we won't stop fighting for progress. And because they won't stop fighting, we're going to have to keep fighting against them. Make sure to get them out of office. Now, his master and chief, Klaus Schwab, had this to say about people fighting back against this.
You have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system.
What he's talking about is his system of power and influence.
So fixing the present system is not enough. Now there is, of course, an anti-system which is called libertarianism.
Ooh, libertarian.
Which means to tear down everything which creates some kind of influence of government into private lives.
Yes, I would like to tear down anything that gets government more into our private lives. So yeah, I'm really into this whole idea of libertarianism. This is a big concern for Klaus Schwab and the globalist elite types. How about, yeah, we bring some more of that libertarianism into our lives, if that is the thing that's going to get the government out of our lives. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.